Hello everyone, Garrett Stewart here again with Keller Williams. It's December, it's the last month of the year. We finally made it through 2020. What a crazy year it's been. And we're here to get together and go over November's numbers for the Reno, Sparks, and Northern Nevada area for the month of November and recap what's happened. So let's go ahead and take a look. Hey, look at that. We stayed the same. We didn't ramp up again. I was kind of worried about that. It was teasing us that it might go up a little bit, but we ended up about the same of what we did last month for October. So good news there. Hopefully we're going to stay at that level process and maybe even drop down a little bit for December. Taking a look at it over the year span, you can see last October to November, it stayed about the same. In December, it dropped. So we do anticipate it to drop a little bit. That's normal for the winter time as the market slows down, buyer demand drops, and so do sellers as well, because not as many people like moving in the snow and holiday time and things like that. So we do anticipate a slight slowdown in price and drop in price for December, but there's only one way to find out, and it'll be next month. Average days to contract by month stayed the same here. We went from 34 days to 34 days. So regardless, homes are selling very fast. I showed a home this last weekend. I pulled up to the house with my client, and we had two people in front of us. We had to wait for to show the home, and we had someone already waiting for the appointment behind us. If the home is a hot property, it's going to probably sell over the weekend, if not faster. So these 34 days can sometimes be hours or just a couple of days too. So just depends how high in demand it is. Taking a look at how our inventory sales and new listings are doing, you can see inventory dropped again. That's that gray bar there. We went from 394 to 360. Good news is it wasn't as big of a drop as we've had the last few months, but we did drop more. We did see the solds drop some as well. And we did see a big jump in new listings, bigger than I expected. It's normal for the new listings to drop during November. We lose a whole week basically due to Thanksgiving normally. So we do lose some time around there. So it was a bigger drop than I was anticipating, but we did have 375 homes on the market. Looking at this from this November versus last year's November, you can see, I wanted to show this because I've almost forgot how this graph normally is and is supposed to look with an inventory that is a little bit higher than the new and sold home numbers. And you can see in November 2019 that it was 1,087 active inventory versus this year it's 360. So significant drop in inventory year over year. We did see the sales actually go up 100 more homes sold this year versus last year, even though we had 700 less homes on the market. So pretty crazy that we did that, but and we did have less homes come on the market this month versus last year. So interesting stuff. Taking a look at the month supply of inventory, you can see we stayed around the same there, 0.6 months. That's basically if everything. It would take about 0.6 months, half a month essentially, for everything on the market to come off the market if we didn't put any new homes on the market at this point. So we're shooting for that between 5 to 7 months, and we're just over half a month right now, so very fast. Taking a look at the month supply of inventory by price range, you can see everything is in a seller's market. It's below that balanced market lines of 5 to 7 months. So even those $1.5 million homes is very much a seller's market. Homes are moving very quickly. Taking a look and seeing how many homes are on the market in those price range, you know, these homes are selling so fast. How many homes were average on the market during the month of November? Well, in the affordable range of below median home price of the $455,000, you can see there were 68 homes that were on the market in the $300,000 to $400,000 range. That was a little bit bump up over the last month, so that's good. We did see some of that lower range numbers go up a bit, not huge, but you know, maybe a couple of homes. We didn't see as much of a drop in there. We did see some home inventory dropped more on the higher end of things. So kind of interesting to see how those change. So good news is we did see some more affordable price range homes come on the market in November. Now, taking a look at the new contracts, this is kind of our forecaster way of having an idea of what's going to happen for the next month. Because when we see a new contract, that means the home went on the market and got an accepted offer. And in November, that happened for 434 homes in Reno Sparks. Compare that to last November of 450 homes, relatively close. But what was most interesting was the fact that it went from 656 homes in October, new contracts, down to 434. That was a bigger drop than we were expecting since last year it was from 545 to 450. We weren't anticipating, I wasn't anticipating as much of a drop. So interesting that we did see that much of a drop, but that will correlate likely in our December numbers of a few less or even less sales and sold homes in December. But like I said, normally our sales go lower in the winter time. I always like to look at what's going on nationally. It's always a 1 month delay due to so many places having to report numbers. But October, it did drop. The month supply of inventory did drop to 2.5 months supply of inventory there. So nationally, it is continuing to drop as well. Reno, taking a look at those specific numbers, $485,000 sales price stayed the same for that median price. Now, we did see units sold drop, and inventory and new listings had big drops as well. So you will actually see in all these slides, inventory and new listings did drop for every single market we look at. So it'll be interesting to see how those play out over time. Let's take a look at Sparks. And you can see Sparks did drop just slightly in that median sold price, mostly the same though. And we did have the units sold did drop as well as inventory and new listings. But what I found most fascinating was this days to contract on this one. Reno, it was 40 days to contract and it went up a little bit. But for Sparks, it dropped 18% down to 17 days. So if you remember, the Reno Sparks numbers was 34 days. So this is significantly faster. Homes seem to be more in demand in the Sparks area right now. They're selling quicker. Driving out to Fernley, $302,000 median sales price. The units sold did drop as well. Inventory and sales, or inventory and new listings did drop as well. But we did see that days to contract bump up just a little bit. Taking a look at the capital, Carson City, $365,000 sales price did drop down some. We did see the units sold drop down 41%. Only 43 homes sold in Carson City in November. Of course, inventory and new listings did have double-digit drops as well. Going a little bit further south, we've got Gardnerville and Minden. $512,000 did bump up, but units sold was 8.9% up. So we did see that bump up a little bit. And of course, inventory and new listings did drop as well. As always, I always like to look at the condos and townhomes in the Reno Sparks area and what could be affordable for some. $275,000 median sales price there. We did see only 101 homes sold, or condo townhomes sold for that. For November was a drop. We did see inventory and new listings drop, both in the 30% range. So big drop there for inventory and new listings. Always like to address COVID and what's going on there and how it's affecting the real estate market. We've talked about forbearances a lot. I think this is a really important topic to discuss because, I mean, we have just under 3 million people with their home in forbearance, and that's very important to see what happens with them. These are families and people, and so we're hoping that they can figure out what's going on in their life and help put things together and maybe get some help so they can stay in their home. But we understand that's not going to happen for everyone, so it's very important to see what happens on here. But we did see this. We did see it drop a little bit more since our last month's video, but now the last couple weeks we've been starting to see it tick up just a little bit. But we'll see what happens because we started to have some more shutdowns. I know like Sacramento County just announced that they were doing a stay-at-home order and things like that. We're going to see what changes all in there. Now, for the people that have been exiting their forbearance, like what's going on with these forbearance accounts? And we can see that almost over half of them have been paid in full, while over 30% of them have been working out a repayment plan. And you know what? Some are still in trouble and trying to figure out that mitigation plan to get out of that forbearance. And so they're working on that. That doesn't mean it's going to go in foreclosure or anything. But it does mean that they are still working on something to hopefully get that recovered and not lose their home. Now, I think this slide is one of the most interesting and I think most important and should instill confidence in you. Because I do have a lot of people that I talk to that think all these forbearances mean the market's going to crash. We're going to have a foreclosure crisis all over again, and that could be far from the truth. And the reason for that is we're looking at the loan to value ratio. That's what LTV stands for. And what that means is if you're looking from left to right, the 1 to 40 means that they're going to own more equity. They have more equity on their home, meaning that 1 to 40 means that's what percentage of their loan is loaned on the house. So if it's 40% of their loan left on their house, then they don't owe as much. They have 60% equity. So that's great. If they were to sell their house today, they would have a nice chunk of change to walk away with. Now, going to the far end, you can see there's 91 to 100% and 101 plus, meaning they had negative equity on their house. They owe more than what it's worth for the 101. 91 to 100, they're close to that edge, but they have at least a little bit of equity or close to it. And it's very important to see how many, this is based off forbearances only. I just want to clarify that. And so off the forbearance homes, I guess the main point I want to get ahead that is if you cut out the 90% and higher, all of those will have, they could sell their home today and walk away with still money in their pocket, even if they had to sell their home due to it being in forbearance. That's great news. That just leaves less than 7%. That's right, less than 7% of forbearance homes might have an issue making sure they have enough funds to sell their home and walk away with cash. Now, there might be a little bit more because even if they had 91%, technically they could probably still sell their home and walk away, and that's filtered into that 6.1%. So it could be a little bit more, and that's great news because you know, there's a lot of people that were thinking all these forbearance homes were going to be foreclosures, and the fact is, even if any of these sold, even at that 91% forbearance or loan to value ratio, they're likely going to sell like that. You saw how low our inventory is. Anything that's going to be coming on the market, it's likely going to sell. So that's great news here. We might see a foreclosure or short sale here, but nothing like we saw before. Most of this will get absorbed by the market very quickly. To finish up, as we always do, we always look at these mortgage rates. And these mortgage rates have remained very low. Actually, just last week we hit the lowest on record for mortgage rates in the area. So that's incredible news. 2.92% is forecasted by the end of the first quarter. And we're going to stick right around that 3% range for pretty much the whole year. So that's great news. But things can change very quickly. So I want to ensure if you're thinking about purchasing a home or refinancing, don't wait. You know today that you could get a very good deal with that interest rate. So if it's something that's just holding off, I want to see what happens with interest rate. It is not worth the risk. I think this is an incredible rate. Jump on it if you see a good opportunity. And that's what I want to instill confidence in you on that as well. And I want to give you a reminder and a teaser for if you followed my channel for a while, every single January I always do a forecast video forecasting what I believe the next year in real estate's going to do for our area and nationally. So we're going to go over numbers, how much, if we're going to go up in value for homes, continue that trend, you know, what our interest rate's going to do, all those different things we're going to chat about and get an idea of what's going to happen on a national scale and a local scale. So I'm really excited to chat with you. I post that every year. and I'll also be doing a recap. So once we get the December numbers in, we'll do a recap and look over the whole year as well. So very excited about that, and we'll recap what those projections were that we made this January and what we got right and what we got wrong. And I can tell you a global pandemic was not in that forecast for 2020. And if you are looking to buy or sell in the winter time this year, I wanted to let you know I just got my buyer and seller guides posted online. If you want to see some interesting statistics, information about buying or selling in the wintertime, I've got the links of those in my description box below. Just scroll down, find those buyer or seller guides in there, click on that, and you can get a free download for that. So I appreciate everyone watching this month. And if you have any questions at all, you can always reach me at the number below. Be sure to watch my other videos over here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all my subscribers. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next year.